Hey pals, welcome back to my channel, Slow Down with Sarah Jean. Today we'll be sharing a fall afternoon together, baking a seasonal delicious treat, decorating a bit, and stay tuned for a really yummy 30-minute meal that I promise your whole family will absolutely love, and it's super easy to throw together. It might be because it's my birthday month, but the transition from summer to fall in September is my absolute favorite. New England does have some cold winters, but the fall here is unlike any other. The leaves changing, the apples becoming ripe, the garden dwindling down but still having yummy root vegetables, homeschool rhythms getting figured out, the weather getting cooler, warm cozy foods and drinks, lighting a candle. It just all makes me so happy. And so today I am making a little seasonal treat of apple cinnamon muffins. We went apple picking recently with a big homeschooling group. I organized about 100 of us to go about an hour away up north to this lovely apple farm, and we picked a lot of apples, and they are so delicious. So I thought I would make the kids and myself a little treat. And I am starting out by, I milled some fresh kamut flour, and I absolutely love this grain mill that I have. When I remember, when I can, when I have that extra time, I always mill my grains fresh. Don't get me wrong, I still use flour from the grocery store, but for the most part, I try to mill my own grains. It's just healthier, has more nutrients, and it's just better for you overall. So I chopped up some apples, then I added in the flour, baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon, and salt, and I'm going to mix that together and set the dry ingredients aside. So today's video sponsor is Ritual Vitamins, and I don't know if it's just me, but come September, I feel a big pull to start new rhythms and routines, and so I knew it was about time I started taking my vitamins again. So I was really excited to find out about Ritual because their ingredients are way better than all the other ones on the market. They're very clean, they're traceable, they are third-party tested, and I have been taking the postnatal vitamin. Even though I'm a year postpartum, I am still a nursing mom, and so we need a lot of extra nutrients. You know, we're giving our all to our kids, and especially nursing moms, you know, we need those extra benefits and those extra nutrients. So the design of these vitamins is really cool. It has your omega-3s in there with the oil and also the dry ingredients, and they actually have a delayed absorption. So once you swallow the pill, it actually doesn't get absorbed until it's in your small intestine, which is like the ideal place for your body to digest nutrients. Something else that I really love is normally when I have to take pills, I block my nose because they taste really nasty, but the formula in these vitamins make it really gentle on the stomach, and you can take them with or without food. So Ritual has vitamins for postpartum moms, pregnant moms, women, men, and so if you're looking to add a vitamin to your diet, I definitely recommend checking out Ritual, and they're offering my subscribers 25% off their first order. And if you try Ritual in your first 30 days, you don't like it, your order is free. You can head to ritual.com/slowdown25 to get 25% off your first order. And thank you, Ritual, for sponsoring today's video. I grabbed my KitchenAid mixer, and I'm adding some sugar, brown sugar, and butter, and creaming that together. And then I add in about 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and some Greek yogurt and 2 eggs. And if you're wondering, I will link this recipe. This is not my recipe, but I will link the recipe that I used in the comments so that you guys can follow this exact recipe and not worry about wondering exactly what measurements I'm using and all that. It'll be right in the description box for you guys. Once I mixed that together, I added in a little bit of milk and then the dry ingredients and mixed that up until you couldn't see any more flour. And then I folded in the chopped up apples. Not right now. brought them up from the fridge downstairs. I also made like a little crumb topping. It had like sugar and flour and butter, and I put that on top. But I don't know what it is. It's like every time I make muffins, they never come out quite perfect. I don't know what it is. I can never get them poofy. So many people give me recommendations. I've made sure my baking powder and baking soda is fresh. I've made sure I fill them to the top. I don't know. I don't know if my batter isn't the correct amount. I also know because these are Kamut muffins that they're not going to like rise exactly like they would if I was using like a regular all-purpose flour. However, no matter what flour I use, I can never get my muffins to look like beautiful, I guess I'll put it this way, like store-bought muffins. So if you have any recommendations for me on how I can get my muffins to look, you know, beautiful, I mean, they taste delicious, but if you can get any recommendations to me on how to make my muffins look, you know, just like correct, I don't know how else to word it, but if you can give me any recommendations or tips, definitely leave those in the comments for me. While the muffins are cooking, I decided to make myself a nice fresh cup of tea and decorate a little bit for the season. I'm not gonna lie, I used to have like 3 totes for fall decorating. It was kind of crazy. Before I had kids, that was like my forte. I loved to decorate, especially seasonally. I love to have all the little pumpkins and trinkets and all these other, you know, florals and everything like that. But I have found as I get older and as I have more children that I just less is more, I guess, in a sense. And there are other ways to decorate seasonally. I don't need a million pumpkins around and different fake florals and skulls and everything for Halloween, which I do like to put some of that stuff out. My kids do like Halloween, and we do some Halloween decorating. But like I said, less is more. And so I do set out a couple of pumpkins, a couple of skulls, maybe some spiders. But for the most part, I just like to, you know, maybe add in some more candles, or I hang some dried herbs, or I hang my dried onions from the garden. There are just other ways to decorate that aren't so in your face, if that makes sense. So I like to add more textures, you know, I'll pull out more blankets, more pillows, make things a little more cozier in the fall. And yeah, I just find that that's more my thing now. That's more my jam, is just to make things cozy and not so, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how else to word it. Like, just like I said, in your face. I just feel like I don't need, like, I remember one time I had probably 20 pumpkins, maybe 15 pumpkins all in front of my fireplace for fall. And I'm like, you know, then my daughter was playing with them, and I'm just like, okay, this is ridiculous. Because before I used to be able to set that stuff out and nobody was touching it and it looked cutesy. And then I was like, I just need more, it needs to be realistic. You know, it needs to be functional, it needs to be cute, and it needs to be, you know, what works for our family. So yeah, so hey, if you're all for the pumpkin decorating and setting out a bunch of pumpkins, good for you, friend. But this season of life is different for me, and so I'm all about setting up cozy spaces and functional spaces. Also, just like turning on more lamps, which I really want to get a lamp for my kitchen to put on my counter, because I just like soft lighting, especially when it's fall and winter time, getting that cozy lighting and turning on more salt lamps. That definitely adds a more coziness to the space. I'm also taking this time to just like dust a little bit, clean up for the season, do a little fall cleaning in a sense. And what's funny is my kids are here playing in the background, and a friend recently said to me, you know, where are your kids while you're videoing? It seems like unrealistic. Like they're not hanging on me and things like that. But they're always by my side, you know, whether they're like on the floor pulling out stuff in the cabinets, or you might just not be seeing them. They're probably playing outside or playing quietly in the playroom, but it's like my kids are always with me. The garden may be dwindling down, but I'm still getting lots of goodies. I'm gathering peppers and leeks and herbs, and I also have like beets and radishes and carrots growing. I'm also going to grab some herbs because I love hanging herbs to dry. It adds, like I said, a nice little touch of decor around my house when I hang the herbs. I also grabbed some flowers to dry. And once those are dried, you know, they look pretty while they're hanging there to dry, but they also look nice in a vase over the winter if you have some dried flowers, especially from your garden. That way they're kind of, you know, free and you don't have to go buy dried florals at like Hobby Lobby and stuff like that. And I actually do use my dried herbs. Once they're completely dry, I will just break them up and then I just put them in jars, which I have right above my stove. And I just switch those out and I use those herbs for cooking. Today for dinner, I'm making a very easy 30-minute meal, and it's a broccoli cheddar pasta. This recipe was so easy, and it, like I said, came together in 30 minutes, was loved by all my kids. Everybody finished every last bite of it. And all I did was I took leeks from my garden, but you could just do like an onion too. And I did some olive oil and 2 little pads of butter, put in the leeks and onions and let those saute for about 5 minutes. And then I chopped up my broccoli, and you're going to see my face a little bit in some of these shots that the broccoli was going bad. So I was like, oh God, this definitely needs to be used. But I chopped up some of the stems of the broccoli. I chopped them up really small, and then I threw those in with the leeks and the onions to saute for a few minutes. And then I just chopped up some garlic, and then I finished chopping up the broccoli just really, really small. And then I threw that in with the other veggies and gave it a good mix. Also threw in like 2 more pads of butter before I put in my pasta. So you could use like ditalini. I used orzo. You could use any small little pasta. And I just like put it in to toast it for a few minutes. And then I added in chicken broth, which I would have definitely used bone broth, but I didn't have any made on hand. So I just used like organic chicken broth from Aldi, which if you're not shopping at Aldi and you have one near you, they have such great prices on like this organic chicken broth, I think was like $2. After I added the broth, I just put the temperature up a little bit, let it come to a boil until most of the liquid was gone. And then I shredded up some cheese. I just did whatever cheese I had in my fridge. I just had some like grass-fed cheddar cheese, and also I think I had like a little block of Parmesan cheese, and I had some Applewood smoked cheddar cheese that I just had a little bit left of, so I threw that in as well. Then I just gave that a good mix once I had all the cheese in there, and dinner was done. It was that easy. I also forgot to add that I added like salt, pepper, and some random Italian seasonings too to give it some extra taste, and it was so good. Definitely recommend this recipe. You know, my husband was like, oh, is this soup at first? And I was like, no, it's not soup, but I guess, you know, I was like, it's broccoli cheddar pasta, but he was like, oh, this would taste really good as soup. Like, so if you added more broth and made it soup, that would be really delicious as well. It'd be like a broccoli cheddar soup, but with pasta. I don't know. I was like, maybe I'll try that in the coming weeks, because that actually sounds good. I've never made broccoli cheddar pasta. I've never made broccoli cheddar soup like with pasta in it, but it would be very filling. And some of the family, we had some leftover sourdough bread, so we just put that in here as well on the side. And yeah, dinner was done. So I just love making cozy, easy recipes in the winter time, especially in the fall when we're still outside more and, you know, not quite ready to be trying a whole bunch of new recipes in the kitchen like I am in the winter. But I hope that this video is encouraging to you and that you are enjoying your fall season. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I will be putting out more videos coming soon. You know, I take a little break when the weather gets nice and I don't put out as many videos as I'd like, but once we start winding down and hunkering down for the winter, I do put out more videos, and I would love if you hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.